what can you say about the Metro Manila traffic right now?
A lot. How much tape have you got in there? You bring enough memory for this? Wow. I think this is something that every developing country has gone through. So I think number one, we need to change our mindset, and that's very, very important. I mean, everyone blames the government, and yes, there are many areas where they have let us down, and let's face it, but we also need to look at what we're doing wrong as a people. And I think our whole approach to motoring needs to change. We're living in a very densely populated urban area. And in any urban area, you have to adapt to that. In the same way that when you live in the country, you have a big house, now you have to go into a high rise. It's the same thing with cars. We need to economize, and we need to start to, in a way, we're almost outsourcing that now. A ride-sharing vehicle can actually cater to maybe 15 or 20 of us. That's 15 or 20 car parks free in the city. That's 15 to 20 cars roughly off the road. That's better than any coding system you could possibly come up with. And it's voluntary. Voluntary meaning because the incentive is there. If I only have to pay 100 pesos or so to get myself to work and then get myself home, it doesn't make any more sense to me to pay off a car, and use the parking and all that. I'll keep a car for the weekend, so I don't think new car sales are going to actually suffer as a result. So one idea I keep pitching is taking the buses off the lanes that they are currently on now, which is on the right lane, and putting them in the center lanes. This is alongside the MRT. So we're talking about the leftmost lane in either direction becomes dedicated to a bus. Now, by doing that, you're basically freeing up all the other lanes and the pedestrian walkways and footpaths and sidewalks and all that can all be completely cleared. Why do we put the buses on the middle lane or the leftmost lane? Is because that should be the corridor for any person who's commuting on EDSA uses that center corridor. So we use those same points of entry, so that a commuter comes in and decides, do they want to take the MRT or the bus? It's all in one platform. Okay, the MRT is on one, you go down further and we build a bus stop. A bus stop is equivalent to about 5 buses if you're running the length of the MRT. There's no other way for a pedestrian or a commuter to catch a bus except by catching it from the middle, so we will remove all that congestion. And also by the buses just being there in a row, they are no longer competing because they just can't get ahead of each other. The buses will move. Once they're full, they're moved. If they're not full, well, you have a 30-second or a 45-second stop clock, and then you have to go. But it's easy to manage because they're on dedicated lanes. What's happening now is they're competing like gladiators and cutting each other off. And remember, this is a ripple effect, a shockwave effect. Anything that a car does, if a car slows down even by, there's many experiments that they've shown like this. If a car slows down by even 5 kilometers an hour, somewhere around 2 or 3 kilometers down the road, there's a car coming to a full stop because of that 5-kilometer change. So try and picture all the buses with the way that they operate and how they stop and start. That's what's causing all the problems there. Do not even think about trying to restrict the use of private vehicles when you are still having perfectly good roads being used up by vulcanizing shops, basketball courts, libingans, barangay parades and stuff like that. That's what's happening on all the side streets around EDSA. This is why we are all forced to use EDSA. So if you're going to try and come up with ideas to ban us from EDSA, you first need to clear out our options, which are these side roads, etc. Perhaps creating incentives outside of the metro to have new industries pop up there, like call centers. There's no reason why a call center should have to be in the center of the busiest city in the entire country. Why? I mean, the whole idea is it's an outsourced business process, right? So somebody from Australia, the phone call's being answered here. Why does that phone call have to be answered in Libis, Ayala, Fort, etc.? There's really no reason for that. Maybe you can have a head office here with a corporate office, but the actual call center with the thousands of people, let's put them somewhere else where they can develop a new community. I mean, like they did in Nuvali, we create more opportunities like that. But if that doesn't work, then you start looking at perhaps an age limit on the vehicles. And then if it's a certain age, then it's phased out and you can't drive it in the city. That doesn't mean to say you can't sell it to the provinces, but just within the city, we have a certain age limit for cars. And that's the only way that you're going to cope with a city this size and that's growing with this rate. All right, well, that's pretty much it. If you're still here, it means it couldn't have been that bad. If you like what you saw, sharing is caring. Hit that button, hit the thumbs up as well, and let us know what you think in the comments box. But most of all, why don't you subscribe to channel Blade TV? It's right down there, somewhere just maybe. There,